Governor Cuomo and Mayor de Blasio, unless you've been under a rock, are not playing well, and they're still going at it. The governor just responding to the mayor's diatribe, and here's a portion of what he had to say.
It's clear that his style is to air his public frustration. Everybody has their own style. I don't choose to do that. Next year we can come back, and if he does a good job, then we can say he should have more control.
If he does a good job. Now, that last part sounded particularly condescending. He's basically telling the mayor that if you do a better job, you can get your lollipop. Well, Cuomo was reacting to an interview that de Blasio gave right before he left for vacation. If you missed it, here's a highlight.
What I found was he engaged in his own sense of strategies, his own political machinations. And what we've often seen is if someone disagrees with him openly, some kind of revenge or vendetta follows.
And it's not just these two guys. Now, the Senate Majority Leader, John Flanagan, he's piling on. Flanagan says de Blasio blew a chance to get more control over the schools because he didn't make time to meet with lawmakers to hammer out a deal. De Blasio's people, they dispute that, saying they did reach out, but Flanagan wasn't responsive. So clearly, there is, to put it politely, a disconnect there here. Now, Mr. Tobin, we've seen the romper room before at all levels of government, but this has gotten personal real quick. Can you figure out what the end game for de Blasio is? And Democrats, some have taken sides, but a whole bunch here are sitting on the sidelines waiting to see how this plays out.
I've been wondering who the constituency is or what the constituency is that de Blasio is speaking to, because certainly it's not Albany. Is it to editorial boards? Well, the New York Times editorial board has already made it clear they don't like Andrew Cuomo and that they prefer de Blasio. So who's the constituency? Is it national Democrats? Is it statewide? Is it to sort of call them out? I'm a big believer, and I've said on the show again and again and again, that politics and campaigns are about consequences. And it wasn't just the governor that thwarted the mayor. It's that he tried to elect a Democratic majority to the state Senate, lending his prestige and organizational heft and financial resources to the Democrats. It didn't happen. So why should the Senate Republicans give him what they want? And why on the issue of mayoral control of schools is because the very name of it, mayoral control of schools, it was called the School Centralization Act of, well, then it wouldn't be something that you can make an example of. But here we're saying the mayor wants control of something. We're not going to give it to him.
When I was a kid, I used to poke my brother, constantly poke, until he finally slugged me. And then I'd scream, he hit me, and he'd get in so much trouble. De Blasio got sucker punched here. I mean, the governor has been just poking him and poking him and poking him. De Blasio lost it, and now he looks like the idiot.
Oh, come on.
And he does.
You don't think...
And the reason the Senate's involved, by the way,
I'm with him, by the way.
De Blasio polls so badly in Senate districts around the state. He's the magic word for the state Senate. That's why the
de Blasio
Republicans
made
are
plenty of mistakes. But
I like de Blasio in this one. I'm just saying he fell for it.
He didn't fall for it. He's in a fist fight with the governor, George Pataki, Giuliani, Elliot Spitzer, and everybody. Look, there's nothing new with a fight. What's new here is that someone is punching at Andrew Cuomo, who has gone 4.5 years with no one taking a shot at him.
Sure they have.
No,
the Warren family's party, all but
it's almost irresistible.
The Warren family's party folded and endorsed him because Bill de Blasio made them do it.
And then they sent their people to work for his primary
opponent.
But
de Blasio is now punching, and Andrew Cuomo is saying, look at this guy, he's taking swings at me. What's wrong with him?
Okay, well, Dominic, to me, I believe, without any knowledge of this, that the guy on our screen, he waited a while to respond to this. And I believe he thinks, within his inner circle, that who's going to screw up first? Because right now, clearly there's two different sides. And he's betting that de Blasio has shown in his short time in office, whether it be the people he surrounds himself with or some of the optics that he doesn't do a good job of managing, from schedule to other things, that he's going to screw up. Now, this little thing, if you saw the Post today, obviously the Post not a fan of Bill de Blasio, but they had this thing up with calling it King Blas here right now. And basically the story that they're going out with is the mayor's trying to hire a guy on taxpayer dime to be able to go around the country to push his progressive agenda, okay? In the big scheme of things, not a huge deal, but it plays into the narrative that this is a guy with ambitions beyond New York. He's going to Iowa, he's going to New Hampshire, he's doing all these other things.
As opposed to Andrew Cuomo.
To the general public, they think de Blasio wants to be the face of the progressive end of the party, even though he's only been on the job here for a couple of years. I'm telling you, who do you trust first is going to get their house in order, or who's going to screw up publicly, and then they're going to look like the clown?
Well, I hate to admit it, but I'm with Brodsky to this degree.
You're growing.
I'm growing. Yeah, I'm growing the wrong way. De Blasio had no choice. And Bill's right. Poke, 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 poke. Cuomo has been embarrassing this mayor before he took office. At some point, and anyone that knows
Okay,
Andrew
but I'm
Cuomo,
asking what happens next.
okay, what happens next is, it's real simple. I'm tired. I'm not going to take it anymore. You mess with me one more time. Every time you do it, I'm going public with it. He's going to shame Cuomo. Cuomo is
Or
already...
he's going to look like an infant.
Right.
He's going to look like an infant.
No,
To me, he looked like
no,
a
he
baby
doesn't-
after last
No,
time.
he doesn't look like an infant. He looks like I'm the chief executive of the city, and this
But
guy
you
is...
said it, riff off that. He's chief executive of the city, and the governor's the governor of the entire state. So the
Right.
governor could not be in the city. He could
But
be in Long
gentlemen,
Island or
but gentlemen,
Binghamton
no,
or
you're right.
Western New York.
But everybody at this table knows the personality of this governor.
Okay, and that's the other point.
Let's not play
That's
games.
the other point. He's a nice guy. Okay, so when his
Who-
brother,
who's a nice guy?
Bill.
Bill.
So his
Okay,
brother
yeah,
kept
Bill,
poking
Bill.
him.
Right,
He
right,
kept
right.
poking his brother till his brother
Right.
slugged him back.
Right.
What did he do? He went to mom.
Right.
Cuomo, he got slugged. Do you think the Andrew Cuomo that you have covered for decades is going to be quiet? He's going to
It
make his
ain't,
life
it ain't
miserable.
over yet. But here's the truth. Nobody in the legislature likes Cuomo.
gonna be a
They
fist
don't. One, as I said last week,
sadly-
Mike,
one-
was it better
I
to
really
be feared
believe,
or loved?
Richard, one of them has to
Yes.
go.
Yes.
One of
Yes.
them is going to have to go.
And there
Cuomo
are
or de
two-
Blasio.
There are two Republican state Senate seats in New York City, Senator Golden and Senator Lanza. Both are extremely safe seats. This is not going to win any seats for the Democrats in Long Island. It may play in the capital region. It
No
may not.
one is
What's it going to do in
strategizing
Buffalo?
on this level of detail.
This
Right.
is all
This
they do.
is
try
a
to-
fight for preeminence and influence in the political process, and it's
Bingo.
going to
He's
get
right.
argued
He's
out,
right.
and both sides are going to land punches.
How is de Blasio going to win?
How is de Blasio going to win? If he is able to move forward on his program and convince people who care that his program is the right one, instead of focusing just on Cuomo. You shift. First you pick the fight, then you pick the vehicle for the fight.
Then
This
you
is-
need to stop
this-
telling Republican state senators that they're wrong if they don't support your New York City priorities, and you need to go to the Syracuse Post-Standard or the Binghamton Press Connect or the Buffalo News and the whatever, or a New York Newsday, and sit down and make your case for it and why people
Andrew
should come
Cuomo
along.
has a
No, but
fundamental
the mayor
problem
needs to do that.
on
The
the
governor
left of
already
the
does.
Democratic Party. If Bill de Blasio can organize and point that, Andrew Cuomo has a problem, and Andrew Cuomo
Hasn't
knows
that
it.
happened
No,
already?
that's absolutely right. De Blasio will run a primary. There's no question with somebody or himself, and he'll beat Cuomo. I think you're-
This
I don't know
is
about
this is embarrassing. I mean, it's a little
is.
embarrassing for the state of New York, and I'm waiting for one of the two of these guys to act like a grown-up.
Yeah,
It's
what's
the-
embarrassing?
Because they look like two
But these fights have gone on for years between the mayor and the
I
governor.
know you disagree with me, but the idea that he has the pressure and then goes run away to somewhere in the Southwest, it just feeds the narrative
what
that
about-
this
what
is a
about-
guy who's a grown baby.
But what about Cuomo, who's like, look at how petulant a child the mayor is being, and being a
Not
petulant
much better. I think
being
a
a
little bit
petulant
better, though.
child in the way that he's describing it. I mean, it's
Again, I'm glad we all agreed. All right, coming up next,
push what?
Richard's biggest fan, Donald Trump. He is getting a whole bunch of attention, and he's even leading, believe it or not, I'm not making this up, he is leading Bill O'Reilly in a national poll among Republican voters. But I'm going to play for you a politician who I thought acquitted himself quite well today, Republican Senator of South Carolina, Lindsey Graham. His comments, not just about Trump, but Hillary as it relates to immigration, you'll want to hear from yourself. Stay with us.